Hi, hello, and welcome to or welcome back to Ever So. This is So, and this will be a continuation of 1-800 Gotham by Goldfish in a Bag. Chapter 2 Angel Meet Oracle. Despite the official offer to work together with the Bats, Tim hasn't been reached out to for almost a week. To say he isn't a little disappointment would be a lie. He knows he is way out of his depth, and this is way above his pay grade. But Tim had some small hope that there would be chance to possibly speak to any of the other bats at some point, now that he's crossed the line between civilian and ally. Tonight, Tim decided to take a break from his screens and instead venture out to take some photos of the night. His insomnia wouldn't give him proper break, so photography is the second best option. He still packs Angel's earpiece, laptop, and phone into his backpack with him, just in case there is an emergency. But his algorithm tells him that it's unlikely for anything big to happen. Still, it never hurts to be safe. Tim puts on the earpiece and tunes into the police radio as usual when he's not at his desk manning all the monitors. He then hangs his favorite camera around his neck and begins taking photos of the moon illuminating the rooftops of the city. Usually, he would be following one of the bats, but this time, Tim just wanted to snap some pictures of Gotham dark beauty. He needs a break after dealing with two-faced aftermaths. As Tim is going from roof to roof, he hears the screech of a speeding car and immediately turns towards the direction of the sound. He aims the camera at the car and focuses on the passenger door, which had stopped abruptly in front of a building that's not far from where Tim is. He zooms in closely when a man dressed in scrappy clothing steps out of the car and starts making his way towards the building. A man that Tim recognizes. Dr. Jonathan Crane. Scarecrow. Shit. When did he get out? Tim murmurs to himself as he snaps a few photos of villain entering the building. There haven't been any alerts of recent Arkham breakouts. He listens closely to the police chatter in his earpiece, pressing the small device closer to his ear with two fingers. But there are still zero signs of a breakout, which means nobody knows Scarecrow is out and about. Nobody, including the bats. Nobody except Tim. Shit. Tim ducks behind a chimney and pulls out his laptop, replacing the space in his back with his camera. He takes out the camera SD cards and inserts it into the computer, downloading the photos he took of Crane. He has never been happier that he went through all the exhausting and troublesome work and modified his laptop to be able to directly transfer SD cards after he started getting into his hobby of nighttime photography and bird watching. Tim also immediately begins pulling up information on Scarecrow and the potential actions he might take right now. As he runs the data on his algorithm, he also messages the commissioner the photos and the location of where Scarecrow is. Dear Commissioner Gordon, Scarecrow has broken out of Arkham. This is not a joke. I have attached photos of where he is currently located. Here are the coordinates. Please send immediate assistance, as I believe he has kidnapped one of the asylum staff and forced them to drive him to an unknown building. I cannot confirm the safety of the employee. I do not know what Scarecrow is doing in there, but I am currently figuring it out. Please hurry, Commissioner. Angel. Attachments: Scarecrow1.png, Scarecrow2.png, Scarecrow3.png. As he sends out the message, Tim's laptop has completed analyzing the data on Crane and quickly scans through the results. Seeing what it has presented to him, Tim nearly drops the computer from his lap. On the screen, it reads: Extreme danger. Mass fear toxin release. High possibility higher than 93.54% of a mass release of fear toxin into the city. Liquid form of toxin potentially created 89.37% of success. Due to this new discovery, 92.61% chance release is most likely through water pipes. Contact Commissioner Gordon immediately. Oh shit. Upon seeing the harrowing alert on his screen, Tim quickly searches up what building Crane is in. Please don't be what I think it is. He prays with desperation as his fingers fly across the keyboard. And of course, with his luck, he discovers the worst result he possibly could. While the building has been abandoned months ago due to unsafe living conditions, it was purchased recently by an individual named Stravos Wiseman. Wiseman. The strong man from the Wizard of Oz that wished to be the wisest man. The Scarecrow. Fucking Dr. Jonathan Crane. Hilarious. Tim scoffs. What a comedian. Since where did Scarecrow begin taking lessons from the Riddler? He quickly connects the pieces of information together. According to the hazard report he found, the reason for the unsafe conditions and damage to the building is due to the water pipes constantly cycling throughout a large portion of the neighborhood, making it dirty and unusable for everyone in it. However, if the neighborhood's water system is connected to this building and pushes all of its dirty water into it, that means that the building could release water out of it and into their water system. Meaning that fear toxin would get into the entire neighborhood's water in an instant. Tim murmurs to himself, chewing out his thumbnail. He really needs to break out of that bad habit soon before he permanently ruins his fingers. Contacting Commissioner Gordon is not nearly enough for this. Tim doesn't want to be the first to reach out, but he has been left out with no other feasible choice. He hesitantly pulls out Angel's phone and dials a number that Nightwing gave to Tim after his offer to work together. It rings twice before the call is picked up. Who is this? How did you get this number? A robotics woman's voice answers the call. There's only one person Tim can think of it being. Oracle? Barbara Gordon. Tim is simultaneously terrified and honored. This is Angel. He quickly continues before she ends the call on him. Nightwing left me this number. Please tell me you know of our agreement. Tim does not have the time to explain the whole thing right now. Not when Scarecrow could potentially poison an entire block of people with fear toxin. Oracle makes a sound of recognition. Angel, of course, I have heard of a lot about you. What do you need? This is why Oracle is one of Tim's favorite in the bats. She gets straight to the point while being polite and respectful unlike most of them, excluding Nightwing in Agent A. Well, Tim just assumes Agent A is polite since he doesn't believe Alfred Pennyworth would ever be caught being disrespectful or rude. Just something so charming about the Gordons and their bluntness. Scarecrow broke out. I have already alerted the commissioner, but I don't think that's enough. Crane is planning on releasing a new liquidated version of fear toxin into the water pipes and infect a portion of its neighborhood with it. I'm already sending the coordinates to you. He can hear oracles clicking and typing. Man, it must be so cool to work with the bad tech. Maybe one day Tim can get his hands on it. With the way the hotline is going and recent events occurring, perhaps that is not a far-fetched fantasy anymore. Thanks for letting me know, Angel, she responds, snapping Tim out of his daydream. I have notified the GCPD and will let the bats know as well. How did you find out? There is no news regarding Arkham breakouts. Oh crap. Tim is still near the building that Scarecrow is in. He needs to escape as fast as he can before the bats arrive so he can keep his identity hidden. He packs up with haste, careful not to leave a single item behind. Angel? Right. Tim is still on active call with Oracle. I've received a tip from someone that happened to see Crane. He states smoothly. It's not exactly a lie. He just isn't mentioning that he himself was the tip. How do you know this tip is trustworthy? Leave it to Gordon to know what good question to ask. I verified the photos sent to me were indeed Scarecrow. They could have been doctored. How could you truly verify them? For all we know, Crane could still be in Arkham. They could be fake and used to distract you from what's really happening. Frustratingly good questions to ask. He is still scrambling from rooftop to rooftop and nearly falls off one of the ledges when his jump lands oddly on his ankle. Fuck! He grins out as he clings to the side of the roof. Thank God, he thought to mute his mic. Tim manages to pull himself up, but as he does, the left side of his body scrapes against the rough brick and cuts into his skin as the clothes lift from the climbing movement. He might be bleeding, for all he cares, but he's still running on adrenaline, so he doesn't think about his injuries and continues to make his way to the next building. Hopefully, it doesn't scar. Tim unmutes the mic and eventually says, I know the person who sent them to me. They're my main source of information. That's how I know they're trustworthy. He mutes one more to fully catch his breath. Silence, followed by more keyboard typing. Tim crosses his fingers to pray that his makeshift excuse isn't too suspicious. Alright, Angel. Oracle speaks after a moment. I know you do a lot of good for the city and for the people of Gotham, so I'm putting my faith in you. I've relayed the information over to Batman and Robin. They should arrive soon. Tim sighs with relief. Batman and Robin are on the case, which means they'll probably get resolved by tonight. Scarecrow hasn't had enough time to poison the water pipes yet, if Tim's calculations are correct. So Batman can definitely subdue the Rock on time. Robin hasn't been out for a while. He assumes Damian Wayne was benched since the last time Tim saw him in public was with a broken arm in a green cast. so it will be a fun exercise for Robin to practice non-lethal ways to use his swords. He still has to figure out why the newest Robin method of takedown is so deadly. But that's the second to Jason Todd Red Hood resurrection mystery. Tim has got to snap at least a photo of the two before he leaves. He finally makes his way further from the location, but is still close enough to see the building with his camera zoom. He doesn't want to miss out on the opportunity of seeing the vigilantes in action. It's been far too long since he's seen the Bat and his Robin on patrol. "Thank you for trusting me," Tim tells Oracle. "I promise that my source is trustworthy. They worked with me even before I began the Gotham hotline." Tim decided to roll with it and just continue the facade of two separate identities of the guardian angel of Gotham, and is suddenly revealed made informant. Despite Angel having a reputation for working solo, it's not entirely unbelievable that he could have an assistant. Angel is so secretive to the point that the people just take whatever he says and does for normal. It's pretty convenient, actually. Eventually, Batman will figure out that Tim Drake and the Angel are connected either way. It'll throw him for a loop if he is under the assumption there are two different people instead of one. Tim can't help but feel a little giddy to imagine Batman trying to figure out his identity. It's only right for him to get a chance after Tim deduced the dark-clad vigilante is Bruce Wayne. "Is it possible for us to get in touch with your informant as well?" Oracle asked curiously. Tim begins to say no, but pauses and genuinely considers the thought. On one hand, it's absolutely a horrible idea to get any closer to the Bats, especially as his real identity. It would cause a lot of more work for him to do, and Lord knows Tim is far too busy with being both CEO and the Angel. On the other hand, it would be so cool and funny if he did. He could simultaneously hide his identity while still revealing it to them, which would make Batman lose his mind even more. And even better is that Tim might be able to directly prove them with an A-grade criticism and first-hand opinion as a civilian, possibly giving them some advice as well, just like he did all those years ago with his letters to Batman during his violent grieving phase. It's a rough decision to make. Tim has his answer. I don't know if they'll be comfortable with revealing their identity. They're already not happy that I even revealed that I have an informant, since I am known for working alone. Oracle hums. I understand. However, Tim continues. However, I think they would be willing to work with you guys on occasion. You see, my informant is much easier to reach than me, as I'm only available during the night. They're actually a rather big fan of vigilantes, so I think I can convince them to help you too. Oracle's keyboard clacking starts up again. That would be really helpful, Angel. Having two expert informants assisting us would improve our working capabilities, especially if your informant is able to get first-hand updates and news. But what do you gain from this? This is your informant. Wouldn't you be losing out because of this? You kept them a secret for this long. Tim smiles. Nightwing asked the same question last time. He doesn't understand why they're so obsessed with the idea of gaining something. Why not just accept the fact that people can do good things without wanting a reward? It's not like they don't do the same thing. Doing thankless, hard work that costs time, energy, sleep, and potential than life, without a single dime or penny. Not that any of the bats need to be paid by taxpayers' money anyway. Bruce Wayne's payroll is probably much more impressive. Tim's doing something far more tame than dressing up in a costume, going out at night, and punching criminals in the face for the sake of justice. Really, what he does is not so dissimilar to a 911 operator, except instead of normal emergencies, he specializes in vigilante and rogue-related incidents. Not to mention, all from the safety of his own home. I guess paranoia runs with vigilantes, Tim thinks. Fair enough, he's the same way. To be perfectly honest with you, my informant is someone I know my entire life. Tim begins to explain, but his throat unexpectedly starts to feel dry. He just wants to convince Oracle that the angel and the informant are two separate people. From personal experience, Tim knows that half-truth and not straight-up lying are easiest way to manipulate someone, except here. He realizes he's stuck. Mixing truth and lies is easy enough, but it's difficult to talk about his emotions because he never allowed himself to do so in the first place. Tim's emotions were unnecessary to his parents, being more of a useless bother to them, always being told to put on a smile on the face, to strain up his posture, to be worthy of the Drake name. And Tim has been fine with that, as he primarily uses logic as a sword and shield to begin with. It works out, even if it means pushing and locking away his emotions since he was born. So having to suddenly talk about his feelings without preparation, which is his fault, is rather jarring, to say the least. He swallows. They are lonely. They don't have anybody close. The day job is stressful and uneventful. The only fun they have is helping me and tracking down emergencies. I want to do something for them, and if it means letting others use their skill, then I'll do it. Tim pauses, blinking away some tears from his eyes. He wraps up them with the back of his hand, feeling rather embarrassed at the sudden waterworks. Thankfully, nobody is here with him and shouldn't be audible through the earpiece. At least, Tim hoped so. How did his night turn into a self-therapy session? With Oracle, no less. They need people, and I don't want them to be alone anymore. He ends with his explanation with a mumble, praying that his emotional state isn't noticeable through the voice changer. He clears his throat to avoid having an awkward silence. Anyways, I'll give you their contact information after this call, but you have to take care of them, alright? It would make them really happy if they could work with the bats. It feels a little odd to give himself a recommendation to get the bats to treat him better. But hey, Tim will use the angel reputation to his advantage any way he can. Of course, Angel. Thank you for trusting us with your friend. If you don't mind me asking, what is your informant's name? That way they know me. They know we are working together with you. A name? He doesn't want to reveal himself as Tim Drake just yet, but he wants it to be close enough to his name. Jackson. He goes by Jackson. He eventually settles with. Jackson is his middle name. Once they look towards the right direction, it shouldn't be too difficult for Bruce Wayne to figure out that Jackson is one Timothy Jackson Drake. Don't call him Jack, though. Don't call him Jack, though, Tim quickly adds, shuddering at the thought of being called by his father's name. He will allow Jax if you must nickname him. Noted. Thank you again, Angel. Your help is greatly appreciated. Suddenly she paused in a sentence. Tim tilts his head, confused at the silence. After a few moments, Oracle starts talking again. It seems like Scarecrow has been caught. We couldn't have done it without your assistance. Please let Jackson know that we thank him for his help as well. Tim whips his camera out and zooms into the building. He sees Batman and Robin walk out of the building with Crane apprehended. Excitedly snapping at least 7 photos in 1 second, he leans into his shoulder to press the earpiece in closer. Will do. Thank you for assisting me as well. I will send you Jackson's contact information shortly after this call. It was very nice meeting you, Oracle. Don't tell any of the others, but you are one of my favorites. A small laugh can be heard from her side of the call. If he wasn't pushing his earpiece so close to his ear, Tim probably wouldn't have noticed it. Thank you for the flattery, Angel, she says with a smile. We'll be in contact soon. When the call drops, Batman and Robin seems to have been notified that Oracle finished speaking to Angel based on their body language and adjustment of their own earpieces. They must be all on comms together. I wonder if I will ever get to help them like that. Tim takes a few more photos of the father and son duo, making sure the flash is not on and smiling with every picture taken. One of them rescuing the asylum employee. Good, he wasn't dead yet. Another fantastic one of them leaning against the stolen car, waiting for the commissioner to arrive for Scarecrow. But the real showstopper is the photo where Batman ruffles his son's dark hair with cool moonlight framing their faces from above and the gentle glow of the warm street light from the side. Tim is definitely developing this picture as soon as he gets back to the Drake Manor and putting it in his favorite album. He grins as he clicks through the photos. Despite the previous self-induced therapy session Ariel, which he will not be elaborating further on, it was a pretty lucky night for Tim. Tim's at a nearby coffee shop and is doing some boring paperwork for the Drake Industries, specifically disbursement and project approvals, when his phone buzzes. What do they want now? He groans, fishing for his phone from the back. They are already giving me so much to do. If this is Donna requesting a favor to squeeze in another project with a maximum budget, I'm going to eat my phone. But as Tim locates his phone, he realizes that his Drake phone isn't the one ringing. Neither is his Angel phone. You've got to be kidding me. His new Jackson burner phone that he bought last night is the one buzzing. Tim doesn't know whenever he should be jealous or thankful to himself when Jackson receives a text message from Oracle not even 24 hours later. Why does his newest identity get contacted first instead of his main Angel one? Is it Angel much more valuable as an asset? They didn't even know Jackson existed until yesterday. Well, Tim didn't even know Jackson existed until yesterday. He opens the notification message on the screen. Unknown. Hello, Jackson. My name is Oracle. I'm assuming Angel filled you on the details. Straight to the point. Just how Tim likes it. Barbara Gordon is a wonder. He types back. Jackson. Hi, Miss Oracle. Yes, he did. Still not happy. He ended up revealing that I exist after years of working with him, but I guess he caved after speaking with you. Jackson. Which I would totally do if I were in his shoes. Jackson. But still, not cool. There. Slightly annoyed, slightly enthusiastic. That sounds believable. Jackson is an energetic fanboy and one prone to hero worship. Tim could put all of his bottled-up excitement and childishness into Jackson, which was a much more fun thing to act out than his calm and collected persona of Angel. Angel can be a bit too close to just being himself, considering he started Gotham Hotline without the desire to be anyone important. Tim misses the feeling of slipping into a role. He blames on the fact that he's been taught since birth to play a character when socializing. The desire to act just stuck, he supposes. Despite the text message being right in front of his eyes, Tim still can't believe this is happening to him. He pinched his cheeks to check and immediately winced at the pain. I'm seriously not dreaming, he says, rubbing at his self-inflicted injury. He really did have Barbara's Gordon phone number. A fake one, most likely, but her phone number nonetheless. He saved her contact with haste, now that he's confirmed it for himself. Oracle. I am flattered you both hold me in such high regard. I am sorry that your identity was revealed to us without your consent, but I hope you are open to having a good working relationship with us. We're very excited to be in contact with you and Angel, if that helps. Oracle. And please do just call me Oracle or O. We are going to be colleagues after all. Colleagues? Tim cheers with glee in his head. I'm colleagues with Oracle. Oracle. My apologies for being blunt, but would it be possible to speak to you, either in person or throughout the phone? Now Tim's a little confused. He did make Jackson seem like he was doing a lot of the behind-the-scene work, but nothing to receive this degree of urgency from Oracle. Especially since he hasn't reached out to Angel even once after Nightwing contact with him. Perhaps Tim still's a little bit bitter about that. Jackson. Sure, but why? I don't think Angel said that much about me to warrant this. Oracle. Well, to be frank with you, we know that Angel is extremely secretive. He has never been seen before. Nobody knows his real voice, face, or any sort of information about his life. His description is too strong for even me to break through. Oracle. The only sort of information we have on him is that he's a male who's probably in his mid to late 20s or early 30s in a higher position of power based on a hotline schedule and recent drone purchase. However, we can't take any of our hypotheses for fact, as Angel has proven himself to be extremely intelligent and could be falsifying everything just to throw us off. Oracle. He has a slight Bristol accent, but that doesn't exactly pinpoint anything, since it could be fake as well. And the fact that he's male could also be completely false, since he's using a voice changer. Oracle. Essentially, we know nothing about your friend, so the fact that he willingly gave up a piece of information, being you, is important. Oracle. You are our link to Angel, and the one that seems to be the key to his success at all as well. Wow, that is a lot. Tim blushes with pride as the one and only Oracle compliments his skill. It's such an odd feeling to get directly complimented to his face, not to mention that he's technically being double complimented as both Angel and Jackson. To think that the bats truly have nothing on him is unreal to think about. Well, beside the higher position of power guess they have, which is rather accurate for now. He wonders what their reaction will be when they find out that Angel is, in fact, 17 years old, and only 13 when he started the hotline, and lives next to Wayne Manor. Maybe this will work out after all. Jackson. Oh, wow! I'm so honored that you think of me as someone so important. Jackson. I'm not going to reveal any information about Angel unless he wants me to, but I'm happy to meet up with you in person to speak if you want. Oracle. That would be amazing. Oracle. Are you free tomorrow at 11 p.m.? Tim looks at his Drake phone calendar. He does have a late night dinner meeting at that time, but he probably can cancel it or then push it into somebody else. Honestly, Tim has been considering stepping down from his role as CEO and handing it off to someone else who truly wants it. Maybe Donna will stop bothering him and start doing the warehouse stuff for once. It seems like she loves pushing people around and making impossible requests. She would be perfect for the role. Tim, on the other hand, couldn't care less about the company. He has been only maintaining it out of basic respect for his parents' last will for him. But at this point, he doesn't see the purpose in keeping his position anymore. Once it's out of his hands, and he is no longer responsible for the company, it could go bankrupt for all Tim cares. It's not like Jack and Janet took much care of him to begin with. That would require them to actually be home for once. Actually, he hopes it does go bankrupt and the Drake Industries finally collapses, having the Drake's name vanish from the public sphere for good. Obviously, while making sure the employees do not get harmed too significantly by the bankruptcy. Essentially, Tim has enough money from his trust fund, his investments, and his parents' life insurance, as well as everything in Drake's manor, to the point that he doesn't have to work for the rest of his life. Yeah, he thinks confidently. You know what? I quit. Tim messages Donna that he can make the dinner and for her to fill his place instead. That will get the ball rolling. Sooner or later she'll be acting like she's the boss of the place and achieve her final form. He smiles. There's a feeling of freedom that washes over his body as soon as he makes the choice to quit. He can focus all of his time on the bats instead, both as Angel and now as Jackson, which is far more fun and entertaining for him. He deserves to have some fun in his life. He still does have to fulfill the rest of his obligations while he's CEO. However, meaning he still has to read through the numerous budget proposals. Yay for Tim. Tim texts Oracle back. Jackson. Yeah, I should be available. Oracle. Great. Come to this location and one of the bats will come pick you up. One of the bats? Wait, does that mean... Jackson. Am I going to be nodded out and taken to Batcave? Oracle. You know of the cave? Oracle. I guess I shouldn't be surprised that the sole informant of Gotham Guardian Angel knows that it exists. Just proves your skills even more. Oracle. No, you won't be knocked out, but mostly blindfolded. We won't be taking you to the cave this time. Forgive us, as we still need to build trust, but instead one of our safe houses. Tim is officially freaking out. Is it even possible to freak out more than he has already since he's texting Oracle? Jackson. That is so cool! Wow! Jackson. I feel a bit bad that you guys are trusting me so much to even take someone like me into one of your secret bases. Oracle. It's no problem at all, Jackson. We want to have a good relationship with both you and Angel, so it's the least we can do. Hopefully, we can even bring you to the cave at some point. They want to bring him to the cave someday. Him, regular old Tim Drake. He doesn't deserve such kindness and favor from his heroes. Tim wants to somehow repay them for this. As a certified Bat fanboy, there is no way he can take all of this without giving back. That is utter blasphemy and dishonor on him as a fan. It shouldn't hurt if he reveals a little about Angel, right? It does him either way, so there's no need for anyone's permission of the sorts. Plus, they're bound to find out who he really is if he keeps working in such close proximity with the bats. And Tim sure plans on sticking as close to the bats as possible while he is able and allowed to as Jackson. When else is he going to get this opportunity? Once they find out about his double life, then they can kick him out. Tim can always go into hiding, and worst case scenario, he can change his identity and flee the country. Alvin Draper already has a passport, credit card, over $500 million to his name, and an apartment in Taiwan, which is great because of their lack of an extradition treaty with the United States. All set and ready to go as one of his contingency plans. He goes for it and sends out the message. Okay, Jackson. Okay. I just asked Angel if I can tell you guys something about him. He says it's fine. Oracle. Question mark, question mark, question mark. Oracle. Wait, are you sure? We didn't invite you to reveal Angel identity to us. Jackson. I know you guys really want any sort of info on him. Jackson. And he knows he can't run forever. Honestly, I'm pretty surprised he lasts this long. Jackson. I will answer one question for now. I won't say anything detailed, but that would immediately give away who he is. But I will answer anything you're curious about. Truthfully, Tim might cave and answer legitimately any question just shy of the true identity of Angel. If they ask for Angel's social security number, he might just give it to them. Tim sees Oracle chat bubble come and go for a minute. Finally, she ends up typing. Oracle. Let me ask the team first. He grins. It must be difficult to narrow down only one question to ask, but also simultaneously get the most information out of it. Jackson. Take your time. After an agonizing and grueling 20 minutes, Tim phone finally dings. He looks up from his work and grabs his phone with exhaustion. Tim has been getting ready to rip the thick packet of paper to shreds after rejecting the 27th proposal for overtaking Wayne Enterprises with some brand new revolutionary idea for aerospace technology in an environmentally friendly way. Looking over the basic blueprints and planning, it's clear to Tim that the environment is probably the last thing of these people's minds. Seriously, what is everyone's problem? No one is overthrowing WE from its throne. Bruce Wayne and his sons are far too capable to allow that to happen. Lucius Fox is far too capable to allow that to happen. Basically, Oracle's message is a nice distraction from the mind-numbing idiocy of some of his employees. Oracle: how did you meet Angel? Not a question he thought of. Tim is expecting them to ask about the full extent of Angel's capabilities, or maybe the general location where he's situated at, or perhaps physical description of the famed operator. Tim would have even given them his algorithm that the hotline relies on if they ask for it. Jackson? Question mark. Jackson, are you sure guys you want this to be your question? It seems more about me than him. Oracle: we're sure. Tim shrugs, if she insists. He cracks his knuckles and begins typing away half-truths and misleads. Jackson: I've known him since I was born. He's the only one I ever had and the only one to have taken care of me. He protects me. He is the only person I can truly trust. I know him like the back of my hand, and he knows me better than myself. Tim grins at the last line. Jackson and Angel seem so intimate and close in his message, and he's not lying about it either. They just happen to be the same person. Jackson: we've only ever had each other. Parents never cared. Nobody ever cared. Jackson: we made it to a hotline together. He was the face, the angel. I was behind the scenes. I do what you call the dirty work, essentially. Running around, finding things firsthand to report back to Angel. I enjoyed it though. He is truly the only thing that makes my mundane life interesting. Jackson: I don't like my identity to be known and prefer to be in shadows. If Angel is the actor, then I am the screenplay. Jackson: does that answer your question? Oracle: yes. Thank you, Jackson. Oracle: see you tomorrow. Tim scratches at his head as he sets down the phone. What was that all about? He thinks, confused. Did Oracle expect that Tim would say the actual location of Jackson meeting Angel? Unfortunately, neither of them are real people, so that wouldn't really work out. What would Tim even say? Yeah, we actually met in the womb because we're the same person? That doesn't make much sense now, does it? He does purposely throw in some petty clues that they're actually the same person, as well as a huge hint about the truth behind all of it with the actor and screenplay message. Even if Angel is the actor and Jackson is the screenplay, one being the skeleton of the act character, both had to be created by a director, a scriptwriter, someone in charge of the entire operation and story. Maybe Oracle will understand. Maybe she won't. That's the fun of having multiple secret identities. Whatever. Tim shrugs, reaching for his coffee mug. It's empty. He looks at the mountain of paperwork left and signs, getting up to the register and to order another 20-ounce hot Americano with 2 extra shots of espresso. Tim doesn't even like coffee that much. It just so happens to be the easiest way to put caffeine into his body, besides sticking an IV into his arm and pumping caffeine straight into his veins. With his egregious sleeping schedule, caffeine is more of a necessity than a fun little kick to start the day. What is my life? He mumbles as he collapses back to his seat to wait for his coffee and flips through the next idiotic project plan, desiring approval again. Already clicking his pen to scrawl another scant in rejection. He drops his heavy head onto the table with a thud, arm still upright holding the pen. Disbursement and vigilantism. What a killer combo. Who even am I? How am I gonna get there? Tim hears his name get called by the barista. He trudges over to the counter to pick up the new cup of coffee and instinctually sighs with fatigue at the smell of espresso. Checking his watch and realizing it isn't even 12:30, his face crumbles into itself and he feels the lethargy begin to set in. Tim groans. It's going to be a long day. My throat hurts and I'm tired. It's so long. It's so long. Why the chapter are so long? It's fun. Well, stay safe. To the next one.